Welcome to Let's Play Games West Virginia. I'm Kevin, this is Heather, and this is PokéMondays. It's been a really interesting week for Pokemon Go.
It has been lots of exciting new things.
The first big thing that we had was the Gen 4 drop. The first wave of Gen 4 Pokemon hit the game this past week.
Well, when he says wave, the first, 20 or so? But still, enough for all of the Pokemoners to get out there and get ready. We also have a couple other things in store. But for Gen 4, we have the first several of the Sinnoh region that have been released to us, and several of them were available on day one. So I don't know about you, but I caught quite a few on day one.
Yeah, day one or day two, I unlocked the first medal for the new Sinnoh Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
I think the setup was 5, 10, and or 5, 30, and 80. I think is what the unlock is. The gold isn't available yet, but I think that's what it is.
I'm not sure that that's right.
I'll check.
Okay.
But yeah, I got a good batch the first day or so.
Yeah, I evolved quite a few the first day. I know that I evolved Bidoof, of course. All hail Bidoof. Definitely got that one. Pretty sure I got Kricketot maybe the first day. Definitely got Turtwig's next evolution, Grotle, the first day. And I believe Chimchar's second evolution the first day. So you have that pulled up with the medals?
Yep. The first bronze level for the Sinnoh Pokemon is 5. The second is 30, and the gold level is going to be 80.
Okay. I thought that the bronze was somewhere around the 30, but I couldn't recall off the top of my head. But is this your first Turtwig here?
It was. This was my first catch of Gen 4, and so yeah, I like the little stick turtle.
You didn't catch the little beaver thing first?
No, the first one I came across was Turtwig. Today is actually Bidoof Day, so if you haven't gotten a chance, it's pretty dark depending on where you are, but a chance to take an AR Plus picture and post with hashtag Bidoof Day. Today is Pokemon Appreciation Day, so go ahead and try to get that done before the day ends.
It doesn't explicitly say Bidoof. It says whatever Pokemon you appreciate, but they kind of alluded to the fact that it was Bidoof. So
let's be honest, it was Bidoof.
I hope that you all... Can you say Bidoof one more time?
Bidoof.
Bidoof, Bidoof, Bidoof. So I hope that you all were able to take some AR Plus photos in some weird and fun, wacky places. Oh, also Starly. One of the first Gen 4 Pokemon that I caught was actually the second evolution of that, Staravia.
Oh, nice.
So I caught that before I even witnessed the adorable little Starly. So that was my, I think, second new Pokemon aside from Turtwig.
Yeah, it was definitely a week of new Pokemon for me. I also was able to flesh out some previous generation stuff as well this week.
Such as?
I finally got a Steelix.
You finally got a Steelix.
Yep. So that was one of them. There's a couple other. There's a surprise later on. Something that I have been coveting for some time occurs. So stay tuned for that.
Oh, I didn't realize there was audio with this.
Oh, there should have been. But we shouldn't be hearing it.
So, some of the Pokemon that have come out are our 3 starters. We've got Kricketot here, we've got Starly, a little bird guy, and some regional exclusives. So we've got Pachirisu, I believe, is one in Canada and the northern region. Next off, we have Chatot, which I believe is the southern hemisphere. I could be wrong on that one. And then also we have Carnivine, which is in the southern U.S. So those are 3 that are going to be difficult to fill out on this first wave of Gen 4 Pokemon. But the others should be readily available, including the cute, adorable Piplup. So
it took me a long time to get Piplup. I definitely didn't get him on the first day, and maybe not even the second.
Oh, wow.
It was the and has been continuing to be the rarest one for me.
They did mention, sort of ahead of time, putting out the feelers that the definitely Piplup, but also just the Gen 4 starters might be more difficult to catch. So I definitely had that experience. I found several times that there were probably 1 to 300 CP starters that I was having trouble catching with an Ultra Ball and with berries. So I know that that was the case, and they definitely alluded to that.
This is my first Gen 4 evolution of the week.
Ooh! And it is?
That broccoli.
The broccoli, the grottle, I'm not sure how you say that.
Grottle definitely sounds like a slang term for a body part, so I'm leaning towards grottle.
Grottle, the throttle, the grotto.
So there's my first medal for the Sinnoh Pokemon.
Hey. And the Bidoof.
Yeah, Bidoof is definitely the Zigzagoon of this wave. I'm seeing it everywhere.
You know, I
got to evolve it pretty soon.
I keep thinking it's like on Angry Beavers. Like I want to name it Daggett or Norbert. Like that might be a thing.
Definitely could be. You can tell the sex of the Pokemon by their fluffs, right?
Yes, the fluffs on the behind. I believe. Hold on, let me check that actively. Bidoof.
There's a pattern of their back fluffs. The one has 3 and one has 5, and you can determine the sex of the Pokemon that way.
So the female has 3 floofs on the tail, and the male has 5. So if you are in your Pokedex and you don't happen to see the male or female signatory there, you can just spin Bidoof around and take a look at the behind fluff.
Which is more polite than lifting up its skirt.
That's true. But it is kind of funny.
So there was this wild Onyx that I hadn't seen.
Oh, wow.
And I was able to snag that while we were out the other day.
One of the other things that Niantic sort of pre-released out for us is the feeler that there would be a larger variation of Pokemon out in the wild. And I don't know about you, but I definitely experienced that this week. I saw several, a couple Scythers. I saw several second evolution Mons. And I saw a couple other random ones that I had not seen in a very long time.
So here I'm using an add-on, a Metal Coat, which is required to evolve Onyx into Steelix, who I think is a little derpy looking, but is definitely nice to round out the Pokedex.
He definitely is not much for the eyes. I would rather just leave it as Onyx.
I think it's the radical underbite that just makes him look...
See, I think it's the radical oversized head and then the tiny little rest of body. So you got Buneary too?
I did.
On the day 1, I saw Buneary's next evolution, and I didn't quite know what it was because it's all shadowed out before you see it. I thought maybe it was actually some kind of plant that was like a hanging plant before I had paid attention to it. So I thought with the possibility of it being a carnivine in some weird shape, but was surprised that it was some weird sort of sexy bunny.
I really enjoy the second evolution when it appeared in Space Jam. I think that was a fine appearance of it. So this is also, we just entered the last week for Suicune, so, plus or minus a day or two. So if you haven't yet gotten those special research done, it's time to save those up and cash them in.
Yep, get 7 days worth of field researches so that you can get your Suicune if you've not filled out your Pokedex. October is ending pretty soon, but we also have a week or so left for Niantic to pull something out of their hat. And then November is right around the corner, and we've still not had an announcement as to what's next.
There have been teasers about a Halloween event, however.
Yes, but for the field research, my thought is that it could possibly be Latios and Latios, since we saw those in raid battles several months ago, but they since have gone away. That would make the most sense to sort of finish out our year with November and December and start fresh with something else.
So the internet has discovered that Chimchar, who we saw just previous to this Kangaskhan, I was hoarding up 7k eggs for whatever reason, so I've got some weird hatches this week. But the Chimchar bounces back and forth at exactly 120 beats per minute, which means if you time him to any music that's in that period, he looks like he's dancing.
Like the Cantina song from Star Wars.
Which is certainly fun. So if you haven't seen that on the internet, you should definitely put that into the YouTubes and check out the Chimchar dancing videos. Absolutely.
Redditors have been very excellent on the forefront of putting him to new music, so that's quite exciting.
Chimchar was also one that I didn't get till pretty late in the week.
I saw it on my nearby radar, and until I started scouting around parks, I didn't see it.
So one of our local players, a friend of ours, threw me a bone here.
So this is the special thing that Kevin has been alluding to that he's been coveting for a long time.
So I am finally the proud owner of a shiny Magikarp, or at least I was for about 8.5 seconds. So that I could eventually be the proud owner of a shiny Gyarados.
And when he says 8.5 seconds, he literally means like 4 seconds. And then after he owns it for 4 more seconds, the shiny Gyarados, he then promptly puts it in a gym before even IV checking it.
Yeah, I was so excited to show it off that I tossed it in a gym on my way to my car. And then someone was like, hey, how's its IVs? And I was like,
I don't
know. It turns out that you actually can still appraise a Pokemon while it's in a gym, so I was able to find out pretty shortly thereafter. But here's the moment I have been waiting for weeks and months.
Literally since day one of finding out that there was a shiny Magikarp.
Is the shiny Gyarados. And oh man, does it look good. Does
it?
Yeah. It's super excellent.
I think more so I'm enjoying watching him get psyched about the shiny Gyarados.
So there's the gym.
Yep.
Like no time passed. And then someone was like, oh, hey, what IVs do they have? And then I had to figure out that you can, in fact, appraise it while it's still in the gym.
Ew.
And it's not fantastic as far as IVs goes. But when you're this pretty, you don't have to be that good.
Is that true? I don't know if that's true.
It's true.
All right.
It's true for red Pokemon anyway.
Is that true for general life things or just Pokemon?
It's outside my lane.
All right. Hey, and there's a regular Magikarp.
And I need lots of Magikarp candies because I'm powering up that Gyarados. So, yeah.
Well, we could trade our shiny Gyarados, and oh no, because you got yours via trade. Oh.
Nope, it's mine forever.
All right. I was going to say we could try to get them lucky, but you already traded.
All the pieces for a joker there. Once you've traded a Pokemon, it's locked. It cannot be retraded. So if you acquired it in a trade, it's yours forever.
And if you
toss it in the woodchucker.
If you try to go to the trade screen and find it, it will be grayed out, as with some of your other starred Pokemon. So don't do that because it won't work out well for you in the end. You'll just be frustrated with a lot of Stardust.
So here was another previous generation that I was able to evolve this week.
So you finally got your first Dragonite.
Yep.
The shiny one of this one looks super cool too. It is green.
Ooh.
And I think somebody in our rating group hatched a shiny Dratini this week, which is hella exciting. I've been working on that special field research. The field research that is evolved tin water type to get a Dratini with the possibility of it being shiny, but so far no shiny luck. I know there was a community day, but that was sort of before I was doing community day, so I missed out.
The shiny Dratini is purple?
Yeah, it's like a magenta-ish, like several of them are.
I haven't actually had any third evolutions from the new Pokemon yet.
Really?
Yeah, but I was able to get Chimchar up to part 2.
I was able to primarily because I had stocked up on peanut berries, which give you twice as much candy. So on day 2, I promptly stuck my Grottle, and then into a gym. And then when it came back, I very quickly evolved it into its final Torterra, which is really, really cool. It's got like a tree and rocks on it, and it's like its own earth, which is amazing.
Yeah, it's definitely a cool looking third generation.
Yeah. It's definitely from Land Before Time, but, anyway, it's amazing. I have to say, though, I do enjoy Baby Piplup more than I do Prinplup or, I just lost the name, the final form of Piplup. What is his name? Empoleon?
Yeah, some of the Empyrean, some of that. So this was Lola Bunny of Space Jam fame. I actually found this one in the wild, so didn't have to evolve this one.
You could name it Jessica Rabbit.
Did you ever see Space Jam?
I did.
Lola Bunny?
Yeah. Low Bunny.
And I ended up with a Lucky Pidgey. I'm probably the only person on the planet who's excited to have a Lucky Pidgey. And then I decided to power it up a bunch because it was cheap.
Feel free to add in the comments if you think he's nuts for IV checking and trading all of these Pidgeys.
Yeah. I still haven't found any 100% IVs, Pidgeys. They do exist, but all of the Pidgey Patrol is currently above 80%, and this guy's lucky, so he gets to lead the forefront.
I just want to point out that he definitely looked it up whether it was possible to get 100% IV Pidgey, because we weren't sure. Kevin,
I looked it up today, actually, because it was only after like weeks and weeks of IV hunting Pidgeys that I was like, oh man, I should make sure that's actually a thing.
But now you're just powering up that sad lucky Pidgey.
Yeah.
Because reasons.
Yeah.
And additionally, today, which we don't have footage for, I don't think so, we were in a raid together. Level 1 raid, Kricketot. We were hoping it might have been a Shinx, but instead we were disappointed with Kricketot. And Kevin here used one of his Pidgeys in the battle raid without letting me know. His lucky Pidgey. Didn't tell me. So I'm doing all the footwork there.
So that Pokemon is only available through raids right now, right?
True. So Shinx is only available via raids. You can also get some of them via eggs, but it's going to look very different. So I take that back. Shinx is available via 10k eggs or raids. So you can get him either of those ways with the possibility of a shiny. Other things that are going to find their way into eggs also, we have all of the starters are in 5k eggs, I believe, and Baneri, the one with the one sad ear, is also in 5k eggs. I did hatch one of those and also a Chimchar this week. And in the 2k eggs, you can find Starly and Kricketot. I have hatched both of those this week, so they're alive and well.
I wasn't hatching a whole lot of eggs, so I've only recently gotten the new batch, so I actually haven't hatched any Gen 4 eggs yet.
I have not had this experience yet, but I have seen others on the wide interwebs who have hatched Riolus out of a 10k egg. I'm still holding out hope on that because I really do want to fill out the Pokedex, but so far, that's news for me.
Yeah, after the 7k egg event, I'd gone through a bunch of super incubators, and I was just kind of in a lag period. I wasn't really, excited about the new eggs, but it took about a week or so that's passed, so I'm looking forward to hatching those other ones now.
I realized that we sort of had a little flub with the egg situation on Community Day. Yeah. Both Kevin and also with general egg announcements. We can talk more about that. Is it better to talk about that with Community Day?
There's actually no footage of me screwing that up, so we could just talk about it now.
Okay. So with Community Day, there were eggs that were hatching 4 times as fast. 4 times. So a 10k egg was like, what?
If it was in a super incubator, it was like 1.3 kilometers.
Right.
Because then you got to stack that bonus.
So stackable bonuses. But those only work if you began to put those eggs in incubators as the event was starting. So if you had leftover eggs in incubators, they did not transfer over to the new lower kilometers.
Or if you were like me and you forgot to put eggs in incubators at all for the first third of the event, then you didn't really get much of anything out of them.
Yeah. He sort of stopped for a minute and he was like, I wonder why I'm not really hatching anything. We've done a lot of walking, only to find out that 0 of them were in incubators.
I had 9 eggs, all just chilling out, no incubators. Oh, and I had 15 super incubators ready to go. I just wasn't using any.
You?
Whoops.
Oh, there you finally maxed out that Pidgey.
And there's actually a max out little blurb that tells you you've hit the max for your level, because that can change. Mm-hmm. Be like I'd have to check the chart, but 100% IV Pidgey maxed out is 585 or something in that neighborhood. So. Huh.
Interesting.
Yep.
Things I never thought I would know or care to know.
The second one still might not be true.
That's true.
But yeah, that's the goal. 600% IV Pidgeys maxed out. So this looks like the beginning of Community Day.
It is?
I think so. Yeah, when we first got there were some Chikorritas hanging around. That's the triple stop.
Can't really see what's happening. It's so little.
Yeah.
Ah, it is.
First Beldum of the day. So October's Community Day was Beldum, or basically Metagross, because that was the goal.
And that happened yesterday.
Is that just yesterday? Man.
Yeah. Seems like forever ago. But yesterday from Eastern Standard Time, 2 to 5 p.m., with the additional hour for solely evolving those guys. So,
which is a welcome change.
Yes. Previously, if you caught all of those things, you had to evolve them in the event window to get the special move set that was offered. But this time around, they offered an extra hour at the end that you wouldn't see any more Beldum, but you could still use that hour to evolve and get Meteor Mash, the special move.
Yeah, I was just going to say that Meteor Mash was the special move for the event, and that extra time to do that is really good because you didn't have to stop maybe 20 or 30 minutes over, do IV checking, figure out who you're going to evolve, and go through all of that hoopla. You know that you have an hour where there's no more Beldum to catch, and you can just do the accounting and bookkeeping of making the most out of that period.
That also gave us time to trade all of our Beldums in hopes that they would either become lucky or have better IVs.
Yeah, so we didn't get to do all that, but we think we did at least 10.
Yeah, we did at least 10.
You'd already chucked a bunch of yours into the wood chipper.
Yeah. I really wanted to maximize all of my evolutions, so what I had done previously, I had been walking Beldum knowing that Community Day was coming up so that I would have a store of candies ready for my first evolution, basically right out the gate. So I think I came into Community Day with something like 87 Beldum candies.
Wow.
So I was able to evolve several during the day.
Yeah, I didn't have very many. I hadn't seen them in the wild hardly at all. I'm not sure how many I had at the beginning. Probably could scroll back and check. But it wasn't many.
I'm telling you, those pin-apps, that's a serious asset.
But they were a limited resource. I was out of pin-app berries and ultra balls within the first hour.
Yeah. Now, it was handy that the field research for Community Day was catch Beldums, basically. And you got pin-apps, you got ultra balls, you got great balls, all sorts of berries for doing that. So that was excellent because, you know, you catch a couple and all of a sudden you have all of these little things to help you along your way.
But as has been typical for my Community Day experience, I wasn't getting those research tasks as often as other folks.
Oh, really?
So I think I maybe only completed 6 or 10 the whole time.
Wow. I'm pretty sure I completed at least 15, possibly 20.
And one of the other benefits of Community Day is increased shiny catches.
Yeah, so you get a cool grayed out looking Beldum that has like little gold, what do they call those?
Little fins on the back.
Yeah, fins. We'll go with that. I was thinking some other term. But anyway, it's a cool little silver guy, and he turns into a pretty cool Metang and Metagross. So I was looking for all of the shinies. Now, where we were, I only found I think I found 4 over the course of our day. But others in our group had much better success, like 7, 8, 9. I only found 4.
I think I ended up with 6 by the end of the day, but I've earmarked a couple of them for trading for other people who weren't able to get them.
That's nice. Look at you, good guy trader.
I mean, I have a couple for myself that I totally already evolved up to Metagross, but...
What was that badge, the gentleman trader? Hey, shiny!
And that's my first shiny of the day. So as you can see, this... Beldum is silver instead of a kind of gunmetal blue, and his evolved form, the kind of St. Andrew's Cross X looking thing on the front, is bright gold, and it looks pretty good. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was so wigged out, like I couldn't even throw these balls, like I was dropping them all over the screen, and it was like, I was like, I got it! There was me and a kid next to us who were both jumping up and down, and I'm not sure who was screaming the loudest, but it might not have been the 7-year-old.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Kevin.
Could have been me.
Also, he was yelling that as he was jumping up and down and shouting, I can't catch it, it's shiny! So that was quite an interesting sight after we did a Mewtwo raid.
Yeah, the Mewtwo raid I think is coming up here next, and I'm still holding my solid sub 50% catch rate.
Yeah, we decided to go ahead and do the Mewtwo raid since there were an abundance of people there, and also Mewtwo is weather boosted because it was chilly and freezing cold.
And freezing is not what AF usually means.
And freezing, AF.
But yeah, we had enough people for the Mewtwo raid that actually I think at least 2 groups went in, because the first group was overflow, because you can only put 20 people in a raid. But yeah, this was our second Community Day where we've spent some time at this series of stops on the waterfront in Morgantown, right next to the rail trail. and it's been a pretty good spot for us.
Did anybody else have success finding shinies? Or did you do any raiding while you were out with friends? Just curious.
We did a couple of raids, well, at least two. We did this one and another one later on.
During Community Day?
Yeah, I mean, I did, you did.
Oh, I didn't partake. There was a Baneri raid that some of the people in our group did. I was sort of busy trying to get all them candies, so I objected, but whatever.
So this is my Legacy Mewtwo who has Shadow Ball.
Mewtwo v Mewtwo, you know, dog fights.
Even though we had 20 people, this was actually, I think, a pretty difficult raid. Like, we've had other level 5 raids that were way easier than this one.
I think we only ended up having 19, but
well, I think they fluctuate. They may have actually even gone down lower to 17 or 18.
I don't know.
But yeah, we had people coming and going. Actually, this Muck did pretty well. Like, he hung tight.
Mm-hmm. Whenever they have a hardy HP,
that Gengar
and defense stats
was barely there, though. He was like up and down.
Yeah. I'm just trying to see which counters you're using. Curious.
There's been some rumor about changes in the movesets coming forward. Additional movesets. So that'll be interesting if that changes.
Yes. So there have been sort of hints that maybe in the data set in the code that there are already additional movesets and that they are changing them from Move 1 and Move 2 to some other format and system. I think Trainer Tips Nick has talked about that. If you're interested in that, go find his latest video.
That's where I saw it also.
But there's a possibility.
Yeah, there's some users on Reddit who basically go through the code every time there's an update line by line and attempt to extrapolate potential changes in the game. Mm-hmm. And one of them is this, basically the variable that is the move set. Its name is changed from 1 and 2 to something a little more open-ended. So that'll certainly be interesting to see whether that happens or not.
And that could mean then at many more moves for a particular Pokemon, or at least a differing set for them.
It'll be interesting to see how they change the user interface, because right now your only options for selecting between them is where you tap on the screen, and there really is no other option for choosing moveset. So if there's a third or fourth option, the UI is going to have to change, and that'll be interesting to see how they fit that on the screen, because the screen real estate is already borderline cramped, I think. Like there's a lot of stuff going on, mm-hmm. and sometimes stuff is located in weird places, and there's a bit of a learning curve to being able to use the app and find what you want. So it'll be interesting to see how they manage that. Mm-hmm. And I was still having my curveball problem for raid bosses.
And yet he's still not reported it to Niantic, so...
Well, I mean, a bunch of other people have too. It's not just me.
No, I know, but I would continue to send them error messages until you get something.
Thanks for the follow. I was looked away from the screen, so I didn't actually get to see the name, but we'll definitely include you with the credits at the end, so thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel.
Woohoo! Here we have Kevin, who cannot catch a Mewtwo.
Kevin, who cannot catch a Mewtwo, definitely, I could change my name to that, because I
think your name would be Kevin cannot catch a raid boss.
Yeah, because I only have 2. I have my Legacy Mewtwo, and I've got 1 from after that.
And we've done at least 10.
Yeah, probably.
Well, you've maybe not done that many. I've definitely done that many.
We've done a bunch. I know that I've done 70 legendary.
Okay, so
I was looking at that medal earlier. So
mm-hmm.
I think it was like 73 of 100 for that medal.
Cool.
But yep, still not catching raid bosses. I do have a pile of golden raspberries though. If I end up using another one, nope.
That was the last one.
Yeah, I still have over 50 golden raspberries.
Oh, nice. I am very low in my count these days, primarily because I had a gym war with somebody else in the neighborhood, and they felt that they really wanted to be in that gym, and I felt that I had not been in that gym long enough, so I was putting a golden raz on my own Pokemon and wasting a lot of those. So Jason asks, you can't throw a curveball on raid bosses. I think this is not necessarily that case. I think it's just Kevin. He's having an issue with his phone. Yeah,
I'm having some issue. It's not just localized to me. Other players have reported it on Reddit as well. It's almost as if the ball hits something in the top third of the screen, and it just doesn't make it over there. And I've tried spinning the ball higher up on the screen, releasing much higher, changing the angle, and it doesn't really seem to be much help. So I think that there's an issue there. And maybe I'll try reinstalling the app and see if that gives it a fix. But normally you definitely can throw curveballs, and oftentimes it seems like a golden raspberry, a great or excellent curve really are almost required for catching those level 5 raid bosses.
I've not had this issue at all. There have been a couple, but I'm pretty sure those are just my own botched throws.
Yeah, last time I checked the Reddit thread, there were like 4,000 upvotes for people who were having the problem. So it's not just limited to me.
Nope.
Although sometimes the problem is user error. Like I was excited about the first shiny one, so I kept lifting my finger early, and the ball was just like freezing in the middle of the screen and stopping.
Yeah, I hate when that happens. Especially when it's like a little bit rainy outside and you go to throw the Pokeball and it stops and continues to spin in air. Yeah.
Something about the texture of the S8 screen is not as conducive to that as like your phone case or other phones that I've seen or used.
I would say that's true.
So yeah, I don't know if it's the curved screen or if it's the texture of the screen, but there's something weird going on there.
I don't know.
So I'm not sure what my final count is. I actually neglected to do a scrolling count of the Beldum before the end of the event, but I sent over 90 back to the wood chipper for candies at one point.
So if I'm looking and counting backward, because I didn't count any of those, I merely sent a lot back. If I am looking at my Pokemon inventory, as I scroll through, I had left over 2 shiny Beldums, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 regular Beldums, a Metang that was shiny, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Metagrosses, one of which was shiny. So a lot of candies for the day.
This past attempt was watch a right-handed person try to throw a left-handed curveball, which was not happening. So were you using pine nut berries for every throw? Did you have enough to do that?
I was using it on every primary throw, and I was using a higher ball than what was probably necessary so as to catch it on the first one, so I was optimizing my pin-app usage. That way, I don't waste a pin-app berry on a regular Pokeball and then it not work, which I had that experience with Turtwig this week for sure. The Pokeball or the Pokeboxes that had items did conveniently have some Ultra Balls, I believe, and pin-apps. So it was helpful to stock up on those before the Beldum event.
That was my second shiny of the day. But yeah, so that one I wasn't messing around with. That was a Golden Raspberry Ultra Ball all the way. I was getting those guys. I know the shiny raid bosses have 100% catch rate, but I'm not sure that the regular ones don't. They can flee. Yeah. But just like the last Community Day event, I didn't have any Beldum that attempted to run away until the final or half of the event. And then again, I think I only saw 2 or 3 attempt to flee.
I didn't have that experience. Probably within the first 10 Beldums I caught, I had 2 run away.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Which is different. I had a very different experience for Chikorita and others previously. But Beldum, no. If I was playing around, he ran. So this was new.
Yeah, I also started off at the higher end, starting with Ultra Balls and working my way back. But by the middle of the event, I was just down to a giant pile of Pokeballs. So sometimes it was 3, 4, 5 throws to get it to stick. But yeah, so the special Community Day boxes definitely had changes for that, additional Pineapps and additional Ultra Balls. Nixterax, where we play, we're located in Morgantown, West Virginia, and this Community Day event, we were downtown in Morgantown near the waterfront. We play all over town.
So all of this is footage that we've recorded over the week, and obviously our community footage from yesterday. So we're Eastern Standard Time, so from 2 to 5 yesterday was our Beldum time.
Yep. Well, welcome to the chat, Nixter.
Hopefully you found some shinies if you were playing yesterday, because those shiny Beldums are pretty cool looking.
Yep. If you were able to get some, go ahead and let us know in the chat. Let us know how many shinies you were able to get. We had a competition going in town, and one of our players had 9.
Yeah, I can't believe that.
Which is pretty astounding.
Pretty good, yeah. I only caught 4, but we also changed up our strategy this time. We didn't branch off as early as we usually do, so we changed things up a little bit, and I think we had a different experience than usual, but still, 4 shinies is hella cool, so I'm not going to complain.
Yeah. Yeah, I ended up with 6 by the end of the day. Nope, no Bigfoot. We actually have a series of cryptids here in West Virginia. We have Sheep Squatch. That's probably the closest one, or maybe the Grafton Monster.
We do have Mothman, so there's that option. I don't know that he's in the Pokedex yet, but there's time.
But you will be able to maybe check out Mothman this Wednesday on LPGWV when one of our members has Wednesday drop beta release, and we will be streaming the Fallout beta on Wednesday.
So that's exciting. Didn't mean to drop that, but here we are.
Yep. So maybe you'll get to see a Mothman creature then.
Woo!
Nice. 3 shinies is a pretty good haul.
Yeah, that's excellent. Were you primarily local? Were you planning around, or just curious? I know some people have had better luck stationing themselves and walking around one area with lots of stops. Others have had success just camping up on a couple stops and parking. I find I have more success on Community Day if I'm constantly moving, but individual reactions are different to that.
Yeah, I definitely for Community Day wanted to have a pretty deep stock of lucky eggs, star pieces, and incense. Mm-hmm. And unless there was a few known dead spots, I had those going for most of the event.
Yeah. So you know how I usually keep a pretty well-stocked group of items of those things? By the end of Community Day, I'm pretty sure I had maybe 5 lucky eggs left at all. So I went through a lot of them.
Yeah, I used one except for the last... Oh, thanks, Nixter. Thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel. I went through a bunch, but towards the end, when we kind of stopped moving around so much, I let up on the incense and some of the other things, especially because I started some of my bookkeeping a little bit early to find out where the high IV Beldums were that I was going to evolve. Yeah.
One thing that I did run into, which was a little bit problematic, is that things like PokéGenie have already attempted to preempt with the new IV changes that are coming with Gen 4, but... in relation to some of the older Pokemon, Niantic took back that sort of reattribution of IVs. So it was a little unclear exactly where I stood with my Pokemon, whether it was this new IV check system or whether it was the old one. But I did get a couple that were in the upper 80s and 90s range. So that's pretty cool. But I don't know what the exact percentage is. Of course, those are hidden stats. So either way, pretty excited.
Johnny Blaze mentioned they were playing at their local university and that spawns were slow, whether they were standing or moving.
Oh, really?
I did think that we had fewer spawns than we did for the Chikorita Community Day.
I think that's probably true.
And so I would say that, yeah, that's probably true for us. But we had a couple known dead spots where there was maybe a quarter mile almost between the distance of groups of stops, and so there were very few spawns in those locations. But generally, it was a pretty decent haul, but I definitely think there were fewer than there were for Pumpkin Spice Chikorita.
Mm-hmm. I did have a different experience in that quarter mile area where there weren't many stops. I was still using an incense, and I probably found 6 or 7, but not like the avid numbers of where we were around so many stops, as you can see on the map there.
Yeah, I think I only had 2 in that dead spirit. Thanks for the comment in the chat there, Johnny Blaze. Thanks for joining the channel.
Feels like no one in your entire state plays. That's quite sad. Is there a local Discord group? I would be curious to see whether there's anybody around, even if not in your town or local place.
Yeah, if you're having trouble finding players to play with, you can go over to the Sylph Road, either the subreddit or their site, and you can use their community finder. And many of the Discords there are pins on the map, and so you can see which Discord is closest to you. It may not be in the city you live in, but it may be one nearby. So our Morgantown Discord spills over a little bit into Fairmont, and used to spill over as far as Clarksburg or Bridgeport, which is a good chunk of north central West Virginia.
But I have run into players very early on in the raid system with raid bosses who would come up for the afternoon or for the evening and play in Morgantown because they knew there would be enough people to do raid bosses. So that is a common thing. If you don't have much luck in your own town, if you're able to get out on maybe a Saturday that you can squeeze out some time, that might be nice.
Yeah. And even if you can't find people to play with face-to-face, you can always make friends and share friend codes over the internet and exchange gifts, and you can still build that part of the game even if you don't have enough folks to do a whole lot of raids.
So I like taking candy from strangers, Kevin.
Yeah, and there's free puppies.
Free puppies!
I mean, they're like digital puppies, and you have to throw balls at them.
Like Suicune?
Yeah. But yeah, so definitely check that out. I would definitely recommend the Sylph Road for trying to find a Discord or a group who's close to you.
Mm-hmm. And one thing I do like about the current friend system is that it doesn't actually give you much information on other persons.
No.
The only thing that you can see about other people is if they offer it up, what they have recently caught, and where their gift is coming from. That's it.
Yeah, so that Niantic is reasonably very concerned. Any location-based game is going to be collecting and transmitting location data, which definitely could be sensitive and could be a potentially maybe difficult situation. And they've done a pretty good job about making sure that information stays private. So you basically never see you don't see other players on the map. The only time you see them is when you're in the lobby at a raid.
Nixter asks if we're Mystic. Would you like to tell him the tale?
Yeah, so when the teams were first released, because that was not at the core part of the first launch, was it the launch of the game?
Yes.
It was just a different dynamic. I was all signed up, ready to go for the yellow team, Team Instinct, and mainly because I liked Zapdos. I was looking at the legendary bird selection, and I got peer pressured, and they said no. And so they corrected that and decided that I was going to play Mystic.
Yeah, so he likes to say that I sort of brought him into Team Mystic, but he did choose it on his own. Gets SIL.
Yeah, I'll grab a link for it real quick.
LPH. Yeah, so if you're not on the Sylph Road, I just recently got on it myself, and I have been playing since day one. But you do get little badges, so it's kind of fun to meet up and get your Community Day badges and check in and see. You can see currently where the nest reports are, though Niantic has mentioned that they're going to be changing the nesting system with the new releases. So currently I've not seen much changing in the nest, but that is a possibility going forward as we get more Pokemon released that those look different. So that functionality on the Sylph Road may change.
Yeah. And it's been a useful one, especially if you're looking for some specific thing. You can look at the nests in your area,
like Magikarp,
and those are built on user reports, so you can also contribute to that. If there's been a nest migration and you're one of the first few people there, you can submit a report of how long you were there and which Pokemon you saw.
Yep.
Nope, we are not taking spices across Asia. We're just merely moving digital monsters around Morgantown.
Although there are some cute ones that I'm sure would be enjoyed and appreciated. Yeah.
But yeah, the Sylph Road is definitely a cool website and it has a subreddit that goes with it as well, and is definitely a valuable resource for information.
Mm-hmm. Other places, if you're looking for more information, the Pokemon Go subreddit is also alive and active. Pokemon Go is on Instagram and Twitter. There are lots of things on Twitter you can follow if you need more information or you just want to really school yourself on all of the geeky, nerdy things about Pokemon Go that I do.
And if you're on social media, there's a bunch of different groups. So we use Discord locally to kind of manage raids and wild Pokemon stuff, and it's pretty well built out with bots. Mm-hmm. But there's also subreddits, and then there's Facebook groups, and there's lots and lots of avenues for trying to find information on other players.
Mm-hmm. You have a lot of footage of Beldum.
Yeah, we caught a bunch of Beldum.
Yeah, I just didn't know that you were going to keep showing Beldum after Beldum.
It was basically a supercut of all the Beldum that I caught that day.
Well, you know what would have helped is some of the cuts of my evolutions of Gen 4.
Yeah, so we had a slight video encoding problem, and we lost all of the iPhone recorded videos and several of the videos that I shot as well. So we just...
But you could have seen a cool little graphic of my Infernape, who's got cool little brass elbow and knee pads.
Did you end up with 2 or 3 third evolutions?
You
had...
I had all of the starters of Gen 4 final evolution. I got Baneri's final evolution. What is the bun?
Lopunny?
Lopunny. That's it. And I definitely got Starly's final evolution. So I'm pretty much set. I'm waiting on the egg opportunities for Shinx and Riolu. I did get a Shinx just today, but it wasn't shiny. But still, Shinx. I am waiting for a shiny Shinx, though. So that's exciting.
Jagro and Nixter are apparently organizing a Poké road trip to Delaware.
A Poké trip?
Yep.
That's exciting!
But yeah, so is that all of the ones you got, or?
Let me look and see. I
had 0.
So let's see. I definitely have Torterra, and I also now have a second Grotle. I have an Infernape, which is Chimchar's final evolution, and 2 now Monfernos waiting. I have Empoleon and another Prinplup in the works. I have Staraptor, which is Starly's final form.
Pidgey Patrol.
Yeah, basically. I do have Bibarel, which is Bidoof's final form, and Kricketune, which is Kricketot's final form, and then, of course, Baneri and Lopunny. So I had several over the course of the week. So here's Baneri here with the weird little ear that supposedly lashes out in its attack, but at the end of the day, it just looks like creepy popcorn.
Yeah. But we got to bring out Pidgey Patrol during Community Day, which is, I enjoy.
Uh-huh.
Even if no one else does. There's actually a couple other Pidgeys out there. A few other people decided to throw in and throw down some Pidgeys.
I think the hype train gets real when you're so excited about it.
We lost that one for team contribution. Probably because half of us were using Pidgeys.
And I didn't participate.
I don't want that train of thought to continue to its logical conclusion.
I did not even... I didn't jump in on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as you saw that raid pass was red, every day you get 1 free raid pass if you have used one previously. And otherwise you have to use premium raid passes, which you can get in boxes. Either you can purchase that with in-game currency, coins that you acquire by time spent in gyms, or by spending real-world currency on digital things. So those are options.
There are also other passes. They are called X-Raid passes, and they are black. And those black passes give you an invite, and now also an invite for one ultra friend or best friend to a special X-Raid, which currently is Deoxys, the normal form. So previously it was the Mewtwo when it first came out, but now it's Deoxys normal form. And we both have had 2 invites to those. And I'm currently waiting now. I have a third invite, so I'll go to that next week, I believe.
I did not get that third invite, so will you take me as a guest?
Yes, I will take you as a guest.
Nixter, that's really interesting that your house is a spawn location. We know someone who lives like right across the street from a Pokestop, but which Pokemon have been spawning at your house? That's a fun problem to have.
Yeah, that's a weird problem. The only thing I can think of is gather all of those for candy and evolution fodder. I mean, it gets you XP and helps you level up, so...
And maybe somebody needs them, because, I'm trading people for Pidgeys these days, so maybe you've got someone local who needs something strange.
Speaking of, I've got like 7 Pidgeys lying in wait for him to trade me, so... Or to take off my hands. Then again, I also have him shiny checking every shelter because I want that shoulder.
So, that's kind of a bummer, buddy.
Yeah.
This is my first shiny evolution.
Hey.
For the Community Day.
So there's that Metang with the cool gold clips.
Yep, the second evolution.
Mm-hmm.
There's only 3 right now, but there should be a 4th one eventually.
Eventually. Not Gen 4, but later. Yeah, so we do have several evolutions of older Pokemon that are coming about in Gen 4, but those have not been released yet. Metagross gets one much later, but who knows what we'll see.
And that was not only my first shiny Metagross, my first actual Metagross.
Oh, yay!
It would be cool if the Pokedex would actually make that the primary item if the first one you had was like shiny or alolan. That would be kind of fun.
I do like that you can now toggle between the different views.
Yeah,
of them.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Male, female, shiny, alolan, regular.
And the other side of that, if you're looking at that Pokemon's evolution train and you haven't seen the evolved form, it's grayed out just like it would be for a Pokemon you hadn't seen before. Mm-hmm. Even if you have the default non-shiny one.
Yeah, absolutely. I am pretty excited about some of the new releases and what that's going to mean for the Pokedex, because there are a lot of new entries now. I am waiting around for those regional exclusives and filling those out. I think Chatot is pretty cute. It's like a little parrot with a music note head. Or what is that tropical bird? Not a parrot.
Toucan.
A toucan. It's like a toucan with a music note. So I'm pretty excited about that. Nixter with Roserade. Well, with this one, we are going to see the sort of baby form, that little bulb. I forget what its name is. Shoot, now it's off of my head. It looks like a little plant bulb for Rosalia. So there's at least that now. It's not... Sorry, let me rephrase. It's not currently available, but it is in the Gen 4 works. So that's exciting.
Badoo.
What?
Badoo?
Badoo. Like B-U-Do. D-E-W. Badoo. Badoo. I don't know how to say that. I'm just saying it now.
Badoo.
Bud. Ew.
But yeah, so this was, we were here towards the end of the Community Day event, so I was trying to get my evolutions in to get Meteor Mash.
Mm-hmm. Yep, Meteor Mash, I have already benefited from that in now seeing that, words are hard, that I have several Metagross that have very high CPs. They are now starting to outweigh my Steel move type Agrons. So I am seeing them much more on my recommended Pokemon, and when I'm lazy, those recommended Pokemon go straight into the battle. So I'm okay with battling with my Metagross rather than an Aggron. So that's pretty helpful. I get to see my Meteor Mash moves go into play, but it does look a little bit sad in the midst of battle. It doesn't have some big spectacular event with it. It's just sort of like, bam, done, Meteor Mash. It is effective though, so that's exciting.
But yeah, so having, after evolving these guys up, the phones are difficult to display on this camera, but Metagross is now in my top CP Pokemon. Ooh, nice. For that evolution at 3315.
Ah, that's pretty good. I think mine, let's see, where do I sit with this? There's currently a Vulpix outside if you want that. Currently, my top Pokemon, I have a useless Slacking at about 3,800, and now I've got two Metagross next up at nearly 3,500 and 3,400. Next up, a Dragonite at 34 also. So that's exciting. I do have to say that I maxed out one of my Metagross just because I wanted the opportunity to have it fully flushed up and battle ready. So I did use some of my candies for that purpose, but not a whole lot. It was already, I think, 3,200 when I started pumping it up. So
nice. How many final Metagross were you able to evolve?
Final Metagross. Let's see. I ended up with 4 for Community Day total, but I already had one that we traded, attempting to get better IVs on them. So I now currently have 5 Metagross and 1 shiny Metang. In all of that, I've got 4 regular Metagross, 1 shiny Metagross, 1 shiny Metang, and 2 more shiny Beldums. So pretty good mix. How about you?
Yeah, I was able to get a total of 6. So I evolved at least 2 of them.
6 Metagross?
Yeah. 6 shinies. 6 shinies.
Oh, 6 shinies and how many Metagross?
I think 4 total. But I've got some of the shinies earmarked for other folks.
I think if I hadn't pumped up one of my Metagross entirely and maxed it out, I probably could have evolved another, at least that shiny Metang into a Metagross, but I decided it was worth it. You know, sometimes you gotta max one out. It's okay. It's not going to be the end of the world, and it's not going to be the most beneficial, but it does make you feel nice inside, all warm and fuzzy. So, such is life.
Next year, go ahead and check your Whisper messages on Twitch. I'm going to change that code at the end of the stream. So yeah, that was Pokemon Go Metagross Day. So it has been a crazy week. We've had Gen 4 drop, Community Day, Shiny Magikarp finally.
Shiny Magikarp for this guy.
For me. Is there anything else that we want to talk about today?
Well, just know that coming down the line, we are going to see a couple new waves of Gen 4 Pokemon. So those are coming. Also, stay on top of your egg hatching. We are seeing Gen 4 stuff in eggs now. So that's exciting. What else? We do have Halloween coming up.
And there's been a teaser about a ghost event, so that should be interesting. I don't think we have any firm data on that.
Yeah, there's been nothing announced. Last year, around October 20th, we saw that the Halloween Pokemon had been announced and posted and released. So we're sort of late on the ball here. But we're kind of hoping, the internet is kind of hoping that there may be a Giratina for the new raid boss, since Mewtwo is leaving raids in a day or two. So there's the possibility of that. Nothing confirmed, of course, just suspicion and hype. But we are waiting on that because where there is an event, there is a corresponding Pikachu, and everybody loves Pikachu with hats, and I'm still in love with my Pikachu with a witch hat, so...
I'm totally down for Pikachu with the hats. I'm down for any Pokemon with a hat.
That's true.
Yeah, hopefully that's the thing we'll see.
Yeah, whether it's a Weedle or a Machamp or something with a hat, I'd be down.
All right, guys, this is Let's Play Games West Virginia. I'm Kevin. This is Heather. Thanks for tuning in. Stick around. We're going to thank our new followers who followed us today, and we'll see you guys next week for PokéMonday at 8 p.m.
And Fallout.
Oh, right. And don't forget to tune on Wednesday evening for Fallout Beta. Katie will be playing through beta. She's the only one of us with an Xbox. So she's got that beta a few days earlier than the rest of us who are going to be on PlayStation. So definitely stick around. We have a full schedule for the week. It's running around at the bottom on the ticker. Every day of the week there's something happening on Let's Play Games West Virginia, and it's definitely something to tune into.
Sure.
Thanks, guys.